The following is an example of the use of chi-square in nursing research. The study was done to determine what knowledge Taiwanese undergraduate women had about cervical cancer and HPV, or human papillomavirus. Please print out the article provided for you on Canvas. The researchers recruited college-aged women from 5 universities in southern Taiwan, and each was given the HPV questionnaire, which contained 46 questions that assessed the following: knowledge of cervical cancer and HPV, health beliefs about HPV vaccination, intention of HPV vaccination, demographic information, and gynecologic history. The section on knowledge and beliefs about cervical cancer had 4 items that assessed knowledge and beliefs, 2 of which were single-choice items about knowledge, and 2 items were about beliefs, and each of these were rated on a 5-point Likert scale from 1, strongly disagree, to 5, strongly agree. The section on HPV awareness started with 1 question. Have you heard of HPV? If the subject responded yes, then there were 6 more specific questions. If she responded no, then the questions were bypassed. The section on HPV knowledge and beliefs had 6 items. 4 single-choice items assessed the knowledge of HPV, including transmission route, genital tract infection, cervical cancer, and detection methods. 1 multiple-choice item assessed knowledge regarding prevention strategies for HPV infection. 1 item assessed beliefs regarding likelihood of HPV infection. The belief item was rated on a 5-point Likert scale from 1, improbability, to 5, very high probability. The data analysis was completed using simple logistic regression to determine predictors of HPV awareness, but that's for another module, and chi-square was used to examine associations between sexual experience and knowledge, and associations between sexual experiences and beliefs. Now examine Table 2. The reason that chi-square was used is that the data are being examined about groups who varied on a factor that is being measured using information that is at a nominal level, meaning that sexual experience was a yes or no answer, and yes or no is nominal in nature. Now, look at the table and you will see that in only 2 questions were the answers found to be significantly different. These differences concern the questions: is cervical cancer a severe disease? And what is your likelihood of acquiring cervical cancer? The significant differences can be seen by looking at the last column under chi-square, and that's a little squiggly X with a 2 on the top. The chi-square statistics of 8.18 has an asterisk next to it, and that indicates the level of significance is p less than 0.05. And this information can be found at the bottom of the table. What that statistic means is that the chi-square test found a significant difference between the groups who have had a sexual experience and those who have not had such an experience on whether they thought that cervical cancer is a severe disease. The researchers actually stated that, quote, undergraduate women who had sexual experience were more likely to believe that cervical cancer was a severe disease than undergraduate women who were not sexually experienced, end quote. This statement can be supported because if you look at the columns that contain percentages, you will see there is a substantial difference between the percentages of women who have had a sexual experience who agree or strongly agree that cervical cancer is a serious disease, 78%, versus those women who have not had a sexual experience, 53%. The reasons that percentages are used for the comparison is that the total number of women in each group is very different. 585 in the group with no sexual experience to 207 with such an experience. Again, if you look at the glass column, there is a chi-square statistics of 13.03 with 2 asterisks that indicate that the level of significance is p less than 0.001. The researchers stated that women with sexual experience were more likely to believe that they had an average probability of acquiring cervical cancer than those with no sexual experience, unquote. Again, if you look at the percentage column, 21% of the women with sexual experience believed that they had an average probability of getting the disease, while only 9% of the women who did not have any sexual experience believed they would get the disease. Of interest to me is that 74% of the women who had sexual experience believed they had a low or improbable chance of getting cervical cancer, and only 66% of women with sexual experience believed they had a low or improbable chance of getting the disease. Interesting. Anyway, I hope this improves your understanding of chi-square.